Mr. Bush spoke as violence in Iraq much reduced since the surge is on the increase. It's the one place in Iraq that is supposed to be safe. But for the fourth day in a row, there have been multiple attacks inside the heavily fortified Green Zone, with some mortar shells even hitting the U.S. Embassy compound. One civilian was killed. More than a dozen have been wounded. The U.S. military says Shiite militants are behind the bombings, and the rockets themselves were made in Iran. The attacks come amidst days of heavy violence in the southern city of Basra, where Iraqi forces are engaging the Mahdi army militia. Dozens have been killed, many more wounded. Today, the president said the fact that Iraqi, not American forces are the ones fighting is a sign the surge is working.
This offensive builds on the security gains of the surge and demonstrates to the Iraqi people that their government is committed to protecting them.
President Bush also hailed what he calls economic and political progress in Iraq.
From major pieces of legislation being passed to simple signs of normalcy. This progress isn't glamorous, but it is important.
Next month, President Bush will hear from General David Petraeus and Ambassador Ryan Crocker. The general is expected to suggest a pause in troop reductions that would likely leave higher troop levels in place through the end of the president's term. For more on the situation in Iraq, let me welcome the Communications Director for Americans United for Change, Jeremy Funk. Jeremy, thanks for being here.
Hello, Karen. Nice to be here.
President Bush defended the al-Maliki government's progress towards reconciliation and the successes of the surge, and he slammed Democrats, saying hectoring is not what the Iraqi leaders need. What they needed was security, and that's what the surge is providing. Is that true?
The central point to President Bush's speech today was that the surge plan is working, and therefore we should give more time and stay the course. But by their own definition, the surge has failed. You know, when they first laid out this surge strategy, they said that the purpose of the surge was to create a sort of security vacuum to allow for political progress and, and political reconciliation in Iraq. But that just hasn't happened. And in fact, General David Petraeus, President Bush's top military commander on the ground, admitted 2 weeks ago that he has seen no, quote, no sufficient political progress. So by their own definition, the surge has failed. Now, on the security vacuum portion of goal of the surge, as I mentioned, it seems that is coming apart at the seams as well.
Bush argues that gains have been made. He listed the Iraqi legislature has passed a national budget, the pension law, legislation setting provincial elections, and allowed some members of Saddam Hussein's Ba'ath Party back into government. Doesn't that deserve praise?
Now, look, we're talking about the same Iraqi government that took 3.5 years to agree upon a flag. We're talking about the same Iraqi government that last summer, while our soldiers were dying and carrying the full brunt of this war effort, took a 3-month vacation. So I think that the only way we're going to see the Iraqi government really stand up and take responsibility and meet real political progress is if we let them know, put them on notice that we're going to begin a significant troop withdrawal.
Democratic groups, including yours, have joined together to launch a $20 million nationwide effort targeting congressional Republicans and likely Republican presidential nominee Senator John McCain on the war in Iraq and its repercussions on the U.S. economy. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Americans United for Change is part of a broad coalition called a campaign we're calling Iraq Campaign 2008, and it includes groups such as MoveOn.org, U.S. Action, VoteVets.org, one of the largest veterans organizations. And yes, we are doing everything we can to educate the public of what that Iraq, economy's kind of taken the front seat lately, but we're going to make it clear that Iraq is just as important an issue because there could not be more bigger contrast between Senator John McCain, who basically is President Bush on steroids when it comes to foreign policy, and the Democratic nominees.
Army General David Petraeus, the top commander in Iraq, is scheduled to return to Washington to testify before Congress in April. The last time that happened, MoveOn.org, as you know, published this full-page ad in the New York Times calling the top military commander, General, betray us. That was widely condemned. A whole lot of controversy came out. Are you worried about overreaction again when he proposes a pause in troop withdrawals?
This time around, we're going to simply point out. Well, we're going to make sure that General Petraeus does not suddenly change his tune when he goes before Congress and tries to backpedal on his comments not 2 weeks ago that no sufficient political progress has been made. I imagine that he is going to do what he did last year and say that everything is going great when he himself has admitted that's not the case. So. And we're going to make that as clear as possible.
Jeremy Funk, thanks for being here.
No problem.
And Bush's speech today is getting a lot of buzz online, so let's bring in Michael Turner for a look